Because he's one of the crucial people in Iraq. He's the representative of the Shia poor in Iraq. Most Iraqis, 60% of Iraqis are Shia, and most of them are poor. So he leads the only real mass movement in Iraq. Saddam tried to get rid of it, killed his father-in-law. You can't marginalize people like this, and if you try, then you just increase the level of violence.
Did the U.S. going in underestimate his power, his influence, and did they perhaps misinterpret which side he'd be on?
Sure, yes. They'd never really heard of him when they came in, when they overthrew Saddam Hussein. Who is this guy, Maqtada al-Sadr? It's almost a parable, to my mind, of the disconnect in what Iraqis think about and know, and what Americans, or the whole outside world, thinks it knows about Iraq. Here is this guy nobody, despite all the intelligence service in the world, had ever heard of, suddenly takes over part of Baghdad, East Baghdad, and most of southern Iraq. Every Iraqi would know the reason why this was, that this man was the son of a very, very famous Iraqi, his father, Mohammed Sadiq al-Sadr, who built up this nationalist, populist, religious movement under Saddam Hussein, was gunned down by Saddam's gunmen, assassinated in Najaf in 1999 with two of his sons, Muqtada's brothers, and Muqtada's father-in-law was a famous theologian who was executed by Saddam in 1980. So he came from a family of martyrs. Iraqis really felt this family had suffered enormously opposing Saddam, and they compared him with Iraqi exiles coming back, whom Iraqis, often unfairly, imagined had spent their years in exile cavorting in five-star hotels in London and New York and Los Angeles. And but this was a family that suffered, and they knew the streets of Baghdad. They sort of empathized more easily with Iraqis.
Why didn't the U.S. know this story?
A number of reasons. I think, first of all, immediately, I was in Baghdad at this moment, and I'd been there a lot during the 90s. I think that they completely misinterpreted the fall of Saddam. They thought, we have defeated Iraq, the Iraqi army. But the Iraqi army didn't fight. Iraqis wanted to see the back of Saddam. He had these super loyal units. They all went home. So they thought it doesn't much matter what Iraqis think. There was a mood of hubris, of arrogance among all the Americans and any other foreigners in Baghdad immediately after the fall of Saddam. In retrospect, people think mistakes were made about dissolving the army, the police, but there was basically, they didn't much care what Iraqis thought. Only later did they discover this mattered a whole lot. So they disregarded Muqtada, they disregarded everybody else.
You have a map here in the book, and here's a map of Baghdad. A lot of people are familiar with it. Here's the green zone in this area, and over here is Sadr City. Well, before April 2003, this was named Saddam City.
Yeah.
And it was changed overnight?
Yeah, and then it's named after Muqtada's father now.
Right. But overnight it got changed.
Sure, yeah. This was originally called Al Thawra. It was built up. It's an enormous slum.